Hello, my name is Ian Malcolm, and I'm a history and government teacher here at Roosevelt. And I was asked to give some of my thoughts about Veterans Day, so I thought I'd approach it as a history and government teacher, and also as a citizen, and as a son of a veteran, and a grandson of a veteran. On the history front, Veterans Day was first Armistice Day, and it signified the end of World War I. So the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we had a World War I end, and it commemorates the end of what was the most brutal, bloody war in modern history. It changed in America to Veterans Day in 1954, when we, after World War II, we had millions of veterans coming home, and veterans that did not come home. And they wanted to make it represent not just the fallen, which was Memorial Day after the Civil War. They wanted it to be honoring veterans, living and dead, and honor their service. So 1954 became Veterans Day. Our allies in World War I still honor Armistice Day. They call it Remembrance Day. I know England and Canada, they have moments of silence at 11 o'clock on November 11th. So there's some of the history. For politics, right now, I think about 7% of the United States population are living veterans, and the greatest generation, the World War II generation, all of those students, if you guys go to Memorial Stadium, and you can look at all of the students that served in World War II and didn't come home. You can also see that in the library at Roosevelt High School, and see the list of students that served and gave the ultimate sacrifice. That generation is quickly going, and my grandfather passed away just a couple of years ago. He served in World War II. Right now, out of the total of our population in active service, it's much smaller. We haven't had a draft since after the Vietnam War, so it's an all volunteer military. So it's about 0.5% of our population, about 1.4 million active service. And many of these soldiers serving honorably thank them for their service. Many are on multiple deployments in the Middle East. On the political front, the homelessness problem in Seattle, there is a census every year, kind of the national count on homelessness, and in Seattle, 11% of the homeless population in Seattle are veterans, and I think that's a huge disservice. These people have served our countries, and they're homeless. There are some groups that can help with that. There's a group you guys might want to check out and support called Stand Down Seattle, which tries to help veterans that are homeless. Another group that you guys might want to look into supporting, volunteering for, or donating money to is Project Wounded Warrior, for soldiers that come home with physical or mental wounds, and helping them come back to the community. And then the last thing is do some research on the ballot this November 7th. It's King County Proposition 1, and it adds a nickel to every $1,000 of home assessed property values, and that small tax increase would go towards helping veterans and providing more shelters and trying to aid this homeless crisis. So, not telling you how to vote here, but you might want to do some research on that initiative or on that proposition, and see if you want to support it or not. Have a good day. Thank a veteran. Think about serving your community in any way you can.
My name is Staff Sergeant Travis Ortega. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I went to high school in Port Orchard. Marine Corps 8 years, and I'm a network engineer and cybersecurity operator. That's the cool term for it.
My name is Staff Sergeant Brian Mack. I'm originally a Washingtonian. I grew up in the Lakewood, Steilacoom area. What was the other question part of that? Oh, I'm a communication specialist or communications supervisor at this point. I'm also a career counselor as well as a martial arts instructor for the Marine Corps.
So my name's Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Arcan. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota originally, and I'm an infantryman and scout sniper in the Marine Corps.
I kind of grew up with a military background. Both my parents retired Army, so I got to kind of see the end goal, so to speak. At the same time, I kind of wanted to walk a different path, and this is an opportunity where I can make a difference.
In high school, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. I didn't like school, but I knew what I didn't want to do, and that was live on somebody's couch and kind of float around from house to house and job to job. And I had a lot of family members who were in the military, and one of my uncles who's, in my opinion, kind of like we consider a stand-up guy, a very solid individual. He was a United States Marine, and I definitely looked up to him, so it kind of just drew me into it.
My family has been in the Marine Corps since the Civil War. So I'm an 8th generation Marine now. My dad started whispering Marine Corps in my ear when I was 3 years old. So, I mean, that's all I know. We give our firstborn to the institution at this point.
I would say one of the coolest things was I was getting my martial arts certification in Africa, and part of the training they heloed us into the Grand Bar Desert, and we got to fight in the Grand Bar Desert for the certification, so that was pretty cool.
I will say the freedom of travel in the Marine Corps. I had a lot of great opportunities. My first duty station was in New Orleans. If you don't know what Mardi Gras is, maybe when you get older you'll understand what Mardi Gras is, but I was at the leisure of Mardi Gras, right down the street from Pensacola, Florida, and Panama City Beach, and we get 4-day holidays for our 4-day weekends for federal holidays, and me and friends, we would just go to the beach and go hang out. It's just we'd all put in and go get a hotel and just hang out on the beach. Getting paid for it, so it was a great time.
In 2013, I was in Liberia in Africa, and we were there as advisors. They just started rebuilding after a coup that their government had, and we had off time here and there, and one of the villages that we were co-located with the African military was the poorest thing I've ever seen in my life. There was one family of 17 that I'm still in touch with today. The last name is Harris. And the family of 17, their idea of a house was a tarp that they tied between trees. Me and the other Marine that I was there with went to the embassy in the capital city of Monrovia. We each pulled out some money, and we paid some of the people that lived in that village to help us, and we built them houses and a school for their kids. And they actually ended up naming their elementary school after me. But the kind of rewards that you can get just on the side of what you're actually doing for your job are my favorite memories to this point.
I would say endless opportunities, education while I've been in, as well as when I get out, medical, dental. I've been able to travel the world. I've been to 9 different countries on 2 deployments. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and her college is covered. So just gave me a lot of opportunities to see the world, man, and make a change, so to speak.
Obviously, like Staff Sergeant Matt kind of touched on, for me, having a family now, some of the better benefits are my family's taken care of medically, right? You have the insurance and the stability. Personally, some of the benefits are the career opportunities that I've had. When I joined the Marine Corps, I had no idea about computers. I didn't know what cybersecurity or any of that was. I just knew that I wanted a good job. My recruiter, he was like, hey, you qualify for this job, would you like it? Sure, and now the certifications, all the training that's been granted to me through the Marine Corps, I'm in a very competitive position after retirement to have an illustrious career after that. So I was definitely taken care of.
So as far as opportunities and benefits go, man, the tangible things, you can get school paid for, you get a good paycheck, you have all the medical benefits and everything, but in my opinion, my favorite part of the military experience thus far has been the camaraderie and unity. I mean, you see all over America all the different kind of struggles, fights going on, whether it be political parties or whatever the case is. If you want to see real unity, I would tell you to go look at a Marine Corps rifle platoon. You have people from all different creeds, ethnicities, religious backgrounds. You got an atheist and a Wiccan and a Catholic sitting next to each other, and they just meld together, and they work together for a common goal. And it just teaches you so much about the human life.
My field, try not to get electrocuted. For the most part, I would say just attention to detail and just know that you're gonna sacrifice some time. I would say those are probably the two biggest things.
Anybody that knows the networking and the IT community, it's ever changing. Every day you wake up, there's a new piece of technology, the iPhone X. Cybersecurity, especially in the Marine Corps. You know, there's always people out there trying to hack and prod into, you know, what we consider our network security. So it's always growing and developing, and it's a constant challenge to maintain, I guess you say, a level of efficiency within the field. So it's definitely challenging, right, to stay up to par.
In my particular field, it's the mental endurance. I mean, I've been on missions where we'd have to go out for a week in the middle of the desert. It'd be a team of 6 of us, and we're carrying so much gear that we don't have room for food. So we got to spend the first couple weeks before that essentially fattening up. All we can fit in for personal sustenance is water and energy gel. And you got to be on your A game the whole time while you're doing those kind of missions. And that comes down to what kind of mental character you have.